Another best of 5 here from a little Alpha X tournament. As this time in the top left-hand side of the map, we've got ourselves the red Zerg player. This is RagnaroK. I'm just talking before this game started about how he's not called RagnaroK in game. This is just his real name for whatever reason in game right now. But yes, this is RagnaroK. As we have in the bottom right-hand side, his opponent to make this a TvZ best of 5 series is TY. I think this should be a good one. RagnaroK showing some promise in ZVT as of late. TY, I mean, TY needs no introduction. We all know how good he can be. We all know how good he is in general. So, don't expect anything, don't expect TY to just kind of fall over and die. Obviously, we know he's really good. We know he can be one of the best in the world. And, expecting that from him as well. Because TY is not the kind of player that slacks off just because it's an online event or anything like that. You know, some players are like that. Where online they're a little bit of a different player, but TY absolutely not the case. Obviously, if this goes up on YouTube, then enjoy the series, and please do consider hitting that subscribe button and liking the video. It helps support the channel a whole lot. And of course, we are on brand new maps that will be hitting the ladder in the next week or so. So brand new maps that will hit the ladder in the next week or so is a pretty big deal. Kind of cool that they're playing these. I didn't realize this when I started casting up these matches today, but yeah. Lightshade, we didn't cast this one just yet in the previous series that we covered, so pretty cool map. I actually think this is like a very standard map. It's kind of like Acropolis V2, if you guys remember Acropolis. I feel like I remember saying this at the time in the TLMC. It's very Acropolis-esque. There's 3 base you can go down, or you can go to the pocket base. You can also expand up here. And you've got other options down over this side as well for continued base production. So you really do have just a lot of bases to take. I don't think it's as large as Acropolis was. But yeah, I kind of like the map. It was one of my favorites from the TLMC. It was definitely a big fan favorite as well. I know a lot of people thought this one was very good, was very fun to play on from the player's point of view. And yeah, I was just going to see this Reaper coming up this left-hand side. Is going to move across into the natural. Have a look to see what's going on. A few lings coming and hanging around right here. Just going to be seeing our lings continuing forward. Just trying to fight against this Reaper. Reaper going to be putting a bit more damage out. Going to just not quite catch that drone. Well, command center's coming through, so one on the natural, one on the third base coming up. So one gas opening here from TY. Straight to the 3cc, so he ain't messing around. He wants to play a nice, quick, economic opening. Really wants to play into that without any issues or anything. As you just see our ling speed on the way up in the main base. People hanging around over on the left. Queen. Just to the left side as well. A few lings setting up, the queen coming in. Yeah, I mean, nothing surprising, right? Just very much so what we expect to see. Expect the Terran player then to really take this low ground base and really kind of use that because they can push forward from there across this left side towards this base, this third base. Or obviously up this direction toward the fourth. The Zergs, I'm trying to think what they used to do on Acropolis. I think the Zergs really had a mixture of taking this base to their fourth and this base over here, kind of depending on how the game was going a lot of the time. So, yeah, kind of a little bit of a mixed bag of goodness in terms of what to expect from the Zerg point of view in terms of fourth base, and that obviously where the fourth base goes down will determine how TY tries to push around, how TY tries to move around, and so on and so forth as well in this next one. We're just going to see a couple of lings just back up the left-hand side. The Reaper obviously went down. A little bit of a shame, not the end of the world, as 2 Hellions might find some drones transfer, and they do not quite get there. It's going to be a Cloak Banshee opener from TY. Very safe after the 3cc. Really keeps them very well protected, but also gives them a good opportunity to put some damage out as well. So 4 Hellions going to go dive in that left-hand side. Going to get 4 drones right away and make that not quite drone number 5. I thought it was going to be. He's going to trade with lings instead. 4 drones go down. Okay, well, that's 4 drones for 4 Hellions. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. Could be much worse from RagnaroK's point of view. Could have been much better from TY's point of view, for sure, as, yeah, we get into, this next one now. We're going to see what are these Banshees even going to do right now? Just sitting back at home very defensively, just hanging around, waiting to see if there's much going to be going on. So Hellions, a couple of Marines joining up together. A couple of engineering bases coming through at the front. But yeah, very defensive from TY after losing those first few Hellions. He's very afraid of a counterattack. Only just now with the two Banshees together going across the map, we'll see if anything extra may be done here. Unable to find anything on the left-hand side just yet. As the melee upgrades come up, our baneling speed coming through. Melee upgrades coming up, couple of overlords coming in. Extractors, overlords, all the good stuff continuing into action at the moment as our 1-1 upgrades still ticking along from both sides. Yeah, in the end, obviously, bane speed melee upgrades before we see the Spire. The Banshee's going to be coming around through the top side. It's going to be coming in. A couple of drones taking some damage. So again, a couple of shots going down right there, and a Queen. And some damage in. These Banshees really not finding much. Kind of getting cornered up in the top left-hand side. So they get shut down pretty easily as now the double medevac's going to load up and start to move along over to the left. I mean, that's going to be the next point of trying to get something done here. The tank sieging up on the left-hand side. Our Hellions morphing into Hellbats and just going to be having... That's a pretty abusive spot, actually. That's pretty brutal. If the Hellbats hit a tank in the front, there's a lot of lean Bane. The tank shot onto the Banes is good. The Hellbats actually eating a few of those Bane shots. Oh, there could have been some Marine target fire to Hellbat there as well. Didn't happen in the end. I was just going to see our Queen getting around the back of the mineral line. A couple of medevacs on the left. And the 8 meters coming up with the +2 melee upgrade and the +2 carapace. And our Marines is going to keep on pushing forward into this one as well. So... still just trying to keep the pressure up. As a few extra Banes arrive in, the medevacs will load up and evacuate out of there. This in the corner, just if you're wondering, is that one Banshee that survived. But it's such low HP, it may as well just not be on the map. It's not even a threat at the moment. Resource loss has been good from TY. You know, he's actually traded pretty well. He's kept the income bouncing back and forth between himself and RagnaroK. So I don't mind it so much for what TY's been able to do. It doesn't feel like he's done like a lot of winning in this game. But, you know, we'll see how the mutas turn that around. As he goes up to 4 bases, the mutas show up. And there's a real quick 4th base from TY as well. He's really just been a macro machine in this first map of the series. He's just been non-stop just going for this. As now the mutas escape up the right-hand side. Widowmine's Marines all joining together in the center. And do you see the few Marines jumping up into medevacs and pulling away with a few extra Banes on the left-hand side of this as well. A couple of extra mutas down to the center. I'm just going to be seeing all of our Banelings are coming on through. Our extra Lings coming up, 2 melee upgrades all coming into play in the next couple minutes. And our Marines are going to be able to get rid of a lot of this creep spread. So a lot of creep going down right from the get-go here. And has to back away. The Widowmine shot hits the mutas. I actually think that's better than hitting the Lings or anything right now. Because yeah, it kills the muta and it gets the mutas low. But the mutas aren't exactly in dangerous territory in their hit points, right? If the mutas are already low, then that's a much worse scenario. But obviously just absolutely not the case here, as we'll see. Well, a group of Banelings morphing on the bottom side, so looking to hit a run-by into one of these bases as a couple medevacs will head down to the south as well. Mutas all continuing to gather up, and we're just going to be seeing a few extra Banes morphing into the center. With our Banes of RagnaroK moving through. I mean, nice catch here from TY. Already has units kind of down in position. The Banes are going to shut down the depots. None of them make it past the depots, however, but it maybe gives chance for the secondary run-by in a few moments from now. Man, this map feels very Terran focused, doesn't it? Like, these ledges just feel so good for the Terran player to work around. Meters will go diving on into the main base while TOI looks to defend the third and pushes on the other side of the map still. He's keeping this pressure up, still pushing forward. A little bit of Ling Bane trails in. That's not going to do that much, really. The Bane's over here while TY responded well initially. He pulled the SCVs only to let them stand still and die. And, well, this time the secondary Bane burst actually does find worker kills. We're just getting a few more on the way out. And maybe time to just loop around to actually just take this army down. It's tough, though, because you got to go, like, kind of through the middle of the map and into a weird position to come in and flank this. So it's actually a really strong spot. Instead, he's just going to bring the Ling Muta across the map into Widow Mines and Marines. I don't think there's enough to fight this properly, though. I think that's a fight that TY ends up winning. Very difficult situation there for RagnaroK. I can understand what he wanted to do. He wanted to try and clean up or continue to put pressure on across the map while there was still a really hefty force over here, but that was just not it. He did not go in with enough banelings in the slightest. And that was a little bit painful, as I can see our Ling Bane continuing on up. 5 on the way in from RagnaroK. I'm just going to be seeing +3 attack, +2 armor continuing in as well. Widowmine also gets a nice little shot there. Just caught the tail end of that, but looks as though it got dragged into a group of banelings, which is obviously pretty painful. Meanwhile, I mean, Readers are still unable to get much done. Gotta say, I've loved the split of the army this game from TY. He's played a really cool game. You know, he's really played a really cool game from start to finish, where I think he's just done a really good job splitting his army up, keeping the pressure up. And I don't know where it really started to go super wrong for RagnaroK, but obviously somewhere along the way here, it's taken a bit of a bad turn. As we're going to be seeing our Bioforce is still standing strong on that right-hand side, and I think at this point RagnaroK's going to start bleeding out units. He's just not going to have, you know, he's going to have that little bit less to hold on with every time, which just makes it that little bit more difficult to really defend against. And eventually just gives TY that momentum and push on through. At the same time, a double drop on the left side. I like this. TY finally able to spread the damage out once again. A few Lings trail in here initially, but they don't do a lot. At least the double drop gets taken down, but at the same time, RagnaroK is losing that top side base. He's still honestly not treating great over here. The Widow Mine on the Overseer, at least that was a good play, as RagnaroK is still fighting basically pure Lings. He might be able to overrun initially, but then the units that were on the top show up once again. He's going to leave the Marauder in the front. He actually gets into Medivacs and will be able to go to the ledge where he's got reinforcements already showing up as well. That's the issue. He needs these Balins to connect, but the Widow Mines will zone, and RagnaroK has realized here that he's just losing a little bit too much to really stay in the game. And so he types out the GG and gives TY that game number 1 of our best of 5 series. Alright, so in the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player is RagnaroK. Down a game, and really just kind of... So what went wrong? I think TY did a great job of splitting his army, and in the end, RagnaroK took very ineffective trades. The one thing that went well for him was when those Banelings connected on like 15 workers on the third. But that was it. Like, other than that, TY got to a very quick 4 bases. He did very well dealing with a lot of the attempted counterattacks from RagnaroK. And that lack of efficiency there from RagnaroK, plus the combined effectiveness of a super fast 4-base setup from TY, just gave TY enough to keep on pushing that top side. And in the end, that top side gave out, you know, and RagnaroK was just continuing to bleed out too many units. He didn't ever have the army to properly be able to fight. It was a game won off of many engagements. TY in top right, obviously. Blue Terran looked great in that game. I mean, it's always impressive to me when you can split those armies up. You've got an army, you know, defending at home. You've got one pushing on the top side, and you keep that push going while defending mutas, while shutting down run-bys. The thing is, Lightshade really allows for it. Like I said, that ledge position is really powerful. For the Terran player, you can sit up on that ledge, and as long as you're up there, any fight the Zerg takes is going to be really bad unless they super outnumber you, which is obviously possible. But if you send the right amount of reinforcements up, you can also just sit there. You don't have to be aggressive. You're not sat in the open while the other fights are happening, and it just really gives you a little added success compared to, you know, say on this map. How do you do a similar sort of thing? Like, you could kind of sit, you know, say a 3rd base here, 4th base there. You could kind of sit here. It's really just nowhere near as threatening. And it's not even as dangerous, right? Like, this is a wider ramp. It's an easier surround coming in from the other side. I'm just going to be seeing our Overlord continuing away to the upper right. Command Center down in the natural. I'm just going to be seeing that Reaper popping up from TY in the next couple of moments. Here to the bottom left, couple queens coming up from RagnaroK already. So again, that link speed underway, and the Reaper into the main, the few lings hanging around. Just gonna see our Reaper grenade going down. And a little bit back and forth then. A little bit of trading out at this point, obviously nothing crazy. Reaper able to get a kill is already a nice little something. And it's just gonna see our Reaper going back around over to the right. I'm just going to be seeing our third CC. Setting up as well in the main base. Again, that up and ready to go. Factory. It's off on a journey. Hello, Factory. Yep. Factory was not meant to go that far out, that's for sure. It was meant to be a little bit close to the reactor. But yeah, 3 CC once again here from TY. There's only so much you can do this, though, right? It gets to a point where if you do this too much, your opponent just starts to make those roaches, and he will come and kill you, or at least punish you once again. So We're looking at TY getting into a position where he felt like it worked well last game. He's going to try and do it again, but I'd be surprised. Whatever happens in this game, we see it a third game in a row. It may very well just be the map. We've mentioned this can be a bit of a larger map again, and can definitely be one maybe the Zerg can run away with the game on. So TY perhaps just wanting to try and compete, with the economy there. As the Reaper comes around, going to hop up and is just going to put some damage out onto a creep tumor, which will not go down just yet. Still just about hanging out there. Alright, well, third CC already done. This goes super fast though. It's like 240 in the game. It's pretty much the fastest third base you can take. As our first Hellions on the map, and again, the Reaper going down early, looking for information, really trying to gain info onto, the gas being spent, where we are at in that regard. The double Evo chamber is a really good sign for TY. If he gets to the frontier and gets to see double Evos, that's really big, because now okay, you're going double Evo, you're not going into that faster lair. So I don't have to worry about the Spire so quickly. I can just say, right, you've gone into upgrades, you're going into a longer game, and that kind of matches how I want to play as well. Now TY again going for the Banshees, so he really does stick to his laurels from game number 1. He really says in game number 2 he's just going to do the exact same thing. I really want to keep a good eye on the fourth base of TY this time, because to me that came up so quickly last time around. I guess these racks set up. What I did like this time is that he didn't lose any of the Hellions. He keeps all 4 of them alive that were on the map. He only built 6 in total before swapping off and making room for a reactor, so maybe even last game he didn't want to build 8. He just ended up building 8 because he lost the first 4 and he wanted at least 4 left on the map for defense back at home. Good chunk of drones already going down here. So that's 3 workers killed as the Lings get in for a little bit of a surround. That's 4 drones killed off. There's our 2 Banshees continuing forward. A third CC down in position, and a couple of extra Hellions coming out with these barracks of TY. Getting ready to lift off and go to the reactors. So yeah, I mean, this time it's just 5 racks right off the bat, nice and quickly. Really, again, powering up into that bio army. RagnaroK again, also a very similar approach to last game. He is needing to get that lair, that Baneling nest though, alongside the lair. There it is. Without that Bane nest, you're in a little bit of trouble. As you see, obviously, Spore Crawlers and the Queens to defend these Banshees. Banshees going to realize where the Queens are, going to work their way kind of away from them. Such a nice damage so far. Gets 6 kills. We'll lose a Banshee here as he gets number 7. Not bad pressure, though. Pretty decent across the board as the Banshee is just going to go up to 9. Will he get 10? He's actually just going to look to keep the Banshee alive, I think. Just say if you can keep the Banshee alive, it can maybe be that little bit of extra defense, that little bit of added pressure somewhere on the map, or even just a scout on top of a new base or something. Better than just losing out on it, basically, for not getting anything extra. So actually just, pretty much significantly more damage this time around. Fourth base from RagnaroK in this bottom right corner, so we really are going to see kind of what I was talking about on this map, about taking this bottom side of the map, and because of that, it really means that, you've got this entire map to contend with. You take no forward expansion as the Zerg. I wonder how TY approaches this, because what if he takes this space, and then he can push from that fourth down here, down the right side of the map into that fourth base? It really leaves the natural open to those counters, but yeah, I don't know if that's the guaranteed way, but it is actually kind of close to this space than going all the way over here. Huh. I mean, maybe that's the way you approach this. The Ling's gonna get in, and these Marines just don't have the numbers right now because there's a lot of Marines in the map, in those medevacs. So that's obviously problematic for TY. The Hellion count will not defend this either, and the run-by has done so much. Gets Marine kills, shuts down the Hellions, forces these two medevacs to come home. They were looking to be pretty well defended anyways. One of those medevacs had taken a beating, but wow, that was shut down much more easily than I thought it was going to be from RagnaroK. And the run-by was actually super, well, super successful. Had a really good time there. As we're going to be seeing the armory coming up in the back of the main base, an extra factory coming in, and just going to be seeing 5 racks in the main base at the moment. That Ling Bane all the way out down in the bottom side, and just going to see our burrow upgrade getting going on the 3rd infestation pit building in the main base. Claws coming up. Going to be seeing those 2 upgrades continue to come in. Missile turrets are building. And just seeing a couple of extra racks from TY setting up on the 3rd base as well. 3 tech labs going down. All of these Zerglings going to go across the map here, so we're going to have a lot of them running across. Marines get there immediately. Shut those Lings down so they get turned away without any troubles. I mean, the problem is the TY is shutting this down well, but he's also playing an extremely passive game where he's not pushed onto the map for the last 2 minutes. So, this creep spread going up the right, the center, starting to get to the left-hand side. This creep spread is just absolutely all over the place as it stands, and well, the Marines coming through and getting a good amount of that creep already picked up. A lot of Bane showing up. I mean, at least that was a bit of creep spread cleared, because that's what he's going to need to do here. Clean that creep spread up, otherwise he's not going to have a good time. There's so many Banes that RagnaroK just feels comfortable rolling into the planetary fortress. Absolutely no chill here, just rolls straight into that base. Absolutely 0 cares given. He's just straight in, kill everything he can, kill everything possible off. And TY is just playing mega macro though. You already have a 5th base on the way before 10 minutes. I guess if you're going to play passively, this is the way to do it. Just taking base after base, making sure you're going to have an insane amount of economy to build back up off of. The thing is, the Zerg's going to have a crazy amount of economy too, because they also have all of those bases. I think TY just accepts this kind of a large map. He's got to play a longer game, but just a few things that aren't going his way. He is maxed out. If he can take a fight, that would be amazing, but so far he's not been able to get in a position to take a fight. Good defense of the run-by yet again. Just going to lose some mining time and not really anything else here. A nice little burrow in the corner from RagnaroK. Obviously, if TY is looking elsewhere when that happens, that's going to be a little bit costly. So a lot of SCVs going down. So we'll see a few more Zerglings going. Being picked off as well. Our Bio Army still on the right-hand side. Lings and Banes in high numbers, just going to go running through, and in the end, obviously, TY just has to evacuate. Still up on supply. He's down a few workers. Getting this base back online is important. He's more from the planetary out of position. I don't think he realizes that he's 1 hex off there. I don't think he's going to get a chance. Well, he might get to fix it now. If he lifts up the planetary, if you will, then he'll probably realize it when he lands it back down. So this run-by might, in the long run, help TY. Of course, in the process, he's going to lose many SCVs that were mining this base. His counterattack gets to the left, but this is the first time we're seeing TY properly being aggressive, actually getting into a position where he's going to be able to deal damage. I mean, he gets a hatchery, but what does 1 hatchery matter right now? I mean, it puts RagnaroK on still, just 5 bases. I guess that's where TY will be at when he mines from this base that he just got set back up. Biggest problem is he just lost 20 SCVs, and he's not getting any drone damage in these attacks. As these medevacs looking to try and find a way back down. It's actually a pretty nice little combo of bases to drop, isn't it? This left-hand side, just drop into the natural, drop into the main. It's going to be one of the big things, I think, on this map in terms of how Terrans will apply pressure. As SCVs for the moment are keeping that planetary alive. Bio pushing on to creep at the same time. This planetary will survive this attack, but now the Lings get into the natural. TY not paying enough attention. Obviously had plenty of free one with the fact those Lings were on the other base, and the planetary was under fire. Oh man, and now we're just going to see units just trailing forward on their own. It's not in high enough numbers to keep themselves safe, so the Lings had a really good start to this, and now we're up to 32 SCVs killed, only 41 workers remaining in the game. 40Y not looking pretty when it comes to how much economy he's got to work off of going from here on out. Bit of bio in that natural. Just going to be seeing our bio army down the right side. Our Lings of RagnaroK are going to go running up the right side here as well. We get turned away pretty quickly. The Ultra's on the way out here from RagnaroK. Spire is on the way up on the back of the main. And the rest of the bio all over the left-hand side. A few more Widow Mines coming up. +3 attack upgrade on the engineering bay. Continue to push on through as our bio army gets set to go. Widow Mine's going to fire. A few Lings going down. Main's getting picked away at, and just going to see the rest of this Ling Vein Ultra army continue to run through, and it's going to be a lift up from TY to get out of there. Another counterattack yet again. Thing is, you know, RagnaroK doesn't even need one big massive fight to win this. He just needs to keep on chipping away at things, because I mean TY is already at the point where he can't really afford to rebuild anything in comparison to how much Zerg is coming his way. The fact that Zerg also has 3-3 against 2-2, these Ultras usually they're already hard to kill. Right now I'd say they're somewhat unkillable. They're almost like Ultras when they first got upgraded in Legacy of the Void. When you're fighting with 3-3 on the Zerg and the 2-2 on the Terran side, the Terran is not meant to win those fights. It's not meant to get to that sort of situations. Jeez. All right, good second game. We're going to tie ourselves up and go into a game number 3. Tied up 1-1, as in the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player from Alpha X. Give it up if you're cheering on RagnaroK. As we have in the top right-hand side, our blue Terran player, TY. Game 3 of this series, tied up 1-1. TY, honestly, last map really just opened himself up to being picked off a lot, right? Like, he constantly tried to get aggressive at maybe the wrong times, didn't leave enough at home versus what RagnaroK was sending to counterattack, and all that kind of stuff. So, it was a pretty, well-played game from RagnaroK. He really answered what TY was doing very well, and TY just never really found a way to the bottom right side of the map to really hit that fourth base properly. And it's obviously one of those games as well where you start losing some of the early fights, then you start losing some of the later ones as well. That was definitely pretty crazy. There's a couple drones coming through. Just going to see our Overlord continuing to go to the top right-hand side. Oxide is our map, another of these new ladder maps that will be on the map ladder from October 1st, I think, is when the maps change. So we really are just a few days away from these taking to the ladder and kind of, being our new norm, which is exciting. I think it's always cool when the ladder maps change. Especially the current ladder map pool. It just feels like we've had it for an eternity, and it's probably because I just cast so much StarCraft, but I think it's because we had 2 seasons of DreamHack with it and all of that, and I feel like some of the maps that have been in this ladder map pool have also just been in here for such a long time. So it's really kind of nice to see that changing up a little bit and to move away into something different. Now, Game 3, do not expect TY to take a third CC again. Expect him to take that gas this time around. I'd be very surprised if TY tried to go single gas 3CC again. Because I feel at this point, RagnaroK's definitely getting to that point where he can start to just kind of blind counter punish it. So, I mean, at least on my side, I'm hoping he doesn't, because I get the feeling RagnaroK might just take it a little bit more aggressively this time if you can get a bit of a heads up as to what's going on. And it is something along those lines as the Lings come in. Maybe we're just going to have to back off a little bit, and we do have the grenade going down. The drones are getting bopped around just a little bit. Question in the chat, why do we still have the free Overlord spotting pillars? Because we need to scout in the early game. That's kind of why. I mean, is it really so bad? This one's actually kind of nice. It doesn't give you super free information, but it gives the Overlord somewhere to sit near the base where it can eventually get a scout. You know, you can also, if you want to, deny it. Load a barracks over here, shut down the Overlord. That was a thing for a while from Terran players. Overlords are faster now? Yeah, but, I mean, what do you want to see with this Overlord? Like, you get this Overlord here at like 2 minutes, that doesn't give you the scout information that you need. The thing is, the game has been balanced around Zerg being able to Overlord scout. So, if you take these pillars away, suddenly you remove the ability for Zerg to scout early game, and the game becomes imbalanced. So yeah, I don't know, like, I actually kind of like this one. I do like it being a bit further back. I do agree it being, like, in the natural, like, right here every single time is a bit overkill. This one's a bit further back. I like this one a little bit. So, yeah, but I mean, it's really one of those things that it's just not worth arguing about or discussing. Like, it's just the way maps are designed, and they're designed that way for a reason. You know, why don't we really see watchtowers anymore? Because it took away from what you could do on the maps. Okay, that's a horrible comparison. Ignore me. A Hellbat attack coming through, by the way. I've got to talk about this. As you see, Hellions down the right-hand side. Going to move through to the bottom here. We're going to see Marines to back this up. RagnaroK's preparation for this is pretty much zero. He's still building drones until just now as, well, he's going to try and get a full wall off here. Wow. TY even brought some SCVs. I thought it was just full of Marines, and I actually did in my head think, wow, it's a lot of Marines to have for a Hellbat attack, but it's because he actually brought some SCVs across as well. He should be able to save that Hellbat that gets fully surrounded. SCVs trying to repair what they can. Obviously, the combination of healing and repair can be pretty powerful as a couple spines coming up. New Hellion getting here as well. SCVs to repair in the last few Hellbats. Standing strong for the moment as a few extra lings are showing up in TY. If he doesn't break through with this game is in a bad spot for him because he cut a lot of SCVs to make this work. And I think RagnaroK has just held on. The thing is, because RagnaroK holds on with so little commitment as well, wow, it's going to be GG. Because RagnaroK holds on with such little commitment, goddammit, I was trying to pause the game just quickly before it ended because I just wanted to look at the position of what TY has to do to put himself in this spot. So he loses 5 SCVs because he brings a lot of SCVs with the push. So already you're down from 28 to 23 SCVs. To make this happen, he's cut SCVs at some point as well. And so he just doesn't have a lot of economy. And that's why when this push fails, especially when RagnaroK didn't take much damage and didn't commit a lot to this, that really becomes a situation where you are just out of luck in this game. You're down 14 workers, no third base, your tech is gone, your unit count pretty much zero. You've got two Hellions left and a Liberator. I mean, at this point, you can just make... This round of Lings is going to cause trouble across the map. You're not going to be able to mine from your natural because you also can't afford to wall off. So you're really just in trouble through and through. So TY types out GG, and that's going to be RagnaroK taking the game number 3 to put himself up into the lead of the series. Game 4 of the series and another new map that we haven't cast so far in this set of matches from this little tournament. As we have in the bottom right-hand side, the red Zerg player from Alpha X, it is RagnaroK. Taking on the blue Terran in the upper left-hand side, we have got TY. Alright, so TY RagnaroK game number 4 as we get this up and running. Hey, what's up, Waterdrop SC2? Thank you so much for the 3-month resub. Welcome back. So Romanticide was one of the maps where we're talking to Mana on the Pylon Show. We're on the Pylon Show. Maps were a topic of discussion, and Mana said this is a very weird map, and he thinks this is the one that's going to get vetoed a lot. But I actually don't know if it will. Anything you get 3 bases up. The 4th base does become a bit weird, yes, and is a bit spread out no matter where you go. But I actually think if you can get to 4 base, you can get to 5 base with a rich Vespi, and you take down these minerals, and you can go from your 3rd to this 5th base. I actually think there's a lot of potential for this map to be very, very cool. So I actually don't think it's going to be an instant veto as much as some people think it will be, I suppose. I'm excited to see how players figure it out going into the going into some actual kind of gameplay on this, right? 'Cause, it's kind of like how Golden Wall got figured out, right? Initially, Golden Wall was played in so many different ways, and I think not to the same extreme, but as this map gets played a bit more, I think people will figure out a lot of what works on it, and in the end, maybe it comes out to be that it is weird, it is wonky, and you just can't play it, but I'm excited to see how people play it, especially in like the first couple weeks of it being on the ladder. I get that feeling for TvZ. This is a very fun macro map. I think you can take 4 bases as both players. I think you can hit a lot of drops. I think you can hit a lot of counterattacks, harassment. To me, this is a real epic map for a bit of back and forth TvZ action. So hoping that this game maybe proves that for us. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we shall see. Game 4 of TY versus RagnaroK. AlphaX Super Series number, I think 24. There's so many of these AlphaX events, it is hard to keep up. But yeah, these little 4-player invitationals have some pretty good players and put out some pretty good games. It's been a lot of fun to follow these lately and to put some coverage out for them. This is pretty bad, this pool first opening. Lings get in, kill a Marine. The Reaper doesn't know what to do across the map. TY in his mind is like, well, I shouldn't really ever have this issue because I built a Marine here, but he just let these Lings walk up into the main, and well, TY made some serious mistakes here as he does lose now 1 SCV already. And the SCVs will continue to push the Lings around, but that's a huge amount of lost mine time. The command center on the natural only just narrows you into build as the Reaper gets back home, but yeah, what a disaster. What a disaster. SCV is still going down. 2 workers killed, so that's 3 in total. So much lost mining time. Look at the income graph for RagnaroK. A huge beneficial spike in his favor. RagnaroK gotta be happy about that. That is for sure. He is loving this position. What a start. Just off a pool first as well. It's very rare you see a pool first getting that much damage done anymore. Very, very rare we see that much damage being done off a pool first. So TY having a bit of a rough start to this game. Neon Romanticide. And thank you so much, Montolio, for the 9-month resub. Welcome back. A sub to Wardy is a sub to StarCraft. Thank you so much for the 9 months, dude. Appreciate the generosity. Thank you very much. River gets in. Moves around through the main. Gonna go via the natural. Oh, doesn't know what he wants to do. Goes back in the main. He wants to know there's not like a Roach Roar and follow-up as TY drops the fusion core. Ooh, we're gonna see some mech here maybe. Obviously BC is typically oftentimes lead into mech. It's a very good possibility, or very good chance that is what we end up seeing. Hellion makes its way back around into the center. Both these Hellions moving around a little bit. 4 of them just going to go and stay pretty passive for the moment. Banshee initially. Obviously, until the fusion core finishes, and he's comfortable that there's not roaches being made, so he cancels the Banshee to build the battle cruiser. And that's basically your plan. You build the Banshee, and if roaches do show up, you keep the Banshee, you let it finish. If they don't show up, you just get rid of that Banshee and you go into BC production. That's a very typical kind of 1-2 maneuver as well. Not really anything too surprising about that. As our Hellions will continue around this right-hand side. We do have the Overseer about to finish up from RagnaroK in the main in the front. He's going to be able to run that into the main base for a scout. And he's going to get to see the BC, so he has got his Spire on the way. He went pretty quick there then, so he went Spire as a kind of a priority. That means he can build Corruptors against that BC, although more often lately has been to actually just go into the Mutalisks and then play kind of Mutaling Bane against this. Immediators do a good job of shutting down the BC, and then they do a good job of keeping the map control. So you can take so many bases and really play into a very strong Ling Bane position from that point on. Two more Hellions of TY coming up as Hellions get in over here. Gets 3 drones, a few Lings going down. Zerglings here from RagnaroK coming through, and Hellions do get there to pick off another couple of Lings. So a couple more Lings going down. The Queens going to come through to push those Hellions back through the bottom side, and just going to be seeing an extra couple of factories from TY building up into the main base. TY with the first battlecruiser was obviously not very exciting because he realizes that there is a possibility of a spire being up at this stage of the game, so he doesn't teleport across the map. Because if he teleports across the map, the mutas kill the BC, and if the mutas kill the BC, this game just gets out of control, because then you don't have anywhere near enough to take your third base. So you need to keep this BC alive, so teleporting across the map is a way to quickly lose this game. Instead, TY keeps this battlecruiser at home, and when he gets a couple, he might start flying them across the map with the ability to teleport back home if necessary. And of course, whether that's because the mutas are on top of them across, on this side of the map, or whether the mutas are harassing at home, and he needs the BCs defensively, either way, he's got that option of teleporting back home. So yeah, obviously just the correct way of playing this, especially when the BC just comes out at this kind of time of the game, is the main thing. Now, let's see the couple BCs here. Take a turn around, seeing those few mutas. So, yeah, he knows the mutas are around. He actually did not build into Yamato cannon, so that upgrade is missing from the BCs. They're not able to fire those insta-kills onto Mutalisks just yet, so something they have to watch out for. Can be a little bit annoying for sure. These BCs coming across are going to go into the bottom side of the map. Going to be having the Spore Crawler taking a few shots of damage there. A few more Mutalisks coming up. Melee upgrades coming in. Flyer attack upgrade coming through. Just going to see our +1 vehicle plating on the armory. A little bit more creep spread pushing forward. And again, the BCs come back around up through the top side. Armory of TY onto the main base. And that Queen Ling Bane army just going to pull all the way back. Going to put an inject down onto the natural expansion. The other couple of queens into the main going to inject as well. Hellions back up the top side as our mutas come along. They pick off a Hellion too, and just going to see another Marine going down. He is continuing to chase all around the map. I mean, so far so good. RagnaroK takes base 4, he's getting to base 5. He actually takes base 5 on that forward base for the rich vest being gas. If he gets away with that, that's obviously huge. You take that base, you get that gas up and running, all of a sudden you're affording so many more Mutalisks. And that really allows you to keep that keep those numbers up, keep that pressure on. TY know 4th base until just now is when he's going to try and take it, and we'll start to see how much RagnaroK ramps up the aggression. Try and stop this 4th base from being taken. So TY also takes that kind of forward 4th location, which is what RagnaroK did as well. So kind of expanding in the same way so far. I wouldn't be surprised if RagnaroK didn't just take this base in the bottom side very soon. He really just puts himself on 6 bases. Tell you what, 6 bases really come up in a pretty... Like, if you're defending 6 bases, you can actually be in a pretty centralized position and defend everything. His base, even base 7 is not that far off when he... Like, yeah, okay, they're not all, like, together, but, for how many bases you have, it's a pretty compact set of bases when you think about it. It's pretty cool. Jumps in and is able to get that BC here. Across the map, the mutas are going to dive in. A couple of Thors get taken down pretty quickly. There was a Widow Miner 2 around. There's a missile turret helping as well. That was the first few mutas we really saw going down. A good few of them fell. He's also got 2 Thor kills, so he really does slow down some of the main units of TY's mech. Getting some kills on that already is now moving into the main base. BCs are going to get active, and they're going to start working their way through this lair. Well, the mutas were across the maps. They weren't obviously here to help defend this, and now these BCs making some very good progress. He's got Yamatos. He's going to Yamato the lair as well. Transfusions come in on it. He will just teleport home. He'll let the lair live for the moment. Good save as well, though. I say he lets the lair live, but RagnaroK also made a play to let the lair live, right? He comes in, he transfuses it. He has the units diving in at the right time. And now he's going to morph a hive off that lair as well. So he has he believes fully. He has full confidence that this lair is going to survive to become a hive. And once it becomes a hive, obviously, you can get some very important units off of that. Where do you go from this point with the mutas on the map? Generally, you take the Ultralisk Cavern, and you play the Ultras and just keep on headbutting into bases. You want to deny base after base after base right now. That's got to be your plan. Deny those bases again and again. That is, for me, definitely the way that this should be going, is mutas join up together. Asking Bane around the left. Just going to see a few of these Hellions in some trouble. Bane's just going to roll into the planetary. It's expensive for TY. You could argue not as expensive as it is for RagnaroK, though, who uses a ton of Banelings to do that. Has to rebuild 60 lings off the back of this. There's a new base here that TY can send over to mine as well. He's actually sending his main base to mine here, and I guess this base will still go elsewhere. How many Mutalisks are there, though? 30 Mutas coming in. First Widow Mine shot brings it to 29. I mean, the Mutas were showing up at the right kind of time. It's just as TY goes across this top side to try and take this base. So it's a good little time to show up with those Mutas, but TY was ahead of the game, and he was already moving his own units into position to deal with that as well. So a job well done for the most part. I think it's fair to say as well. Bane still moving through. These Bane's going to roll at this orbital SCVs. Unsure what they want to get up to. All these Hellions getting picked away at as well. As Here's going to get the orbital command. So that's the main orbital down. Again, it feels expensive from RagnaroK, but it's the whole point, right? Like, this resources lost tab is meant to be in TY's favor because RagnaroK is mining so much more. It's important for him to deny these bases. He can't just let TY mine off 5 bases because he needs to be out mining TY, and so far he is achieving that. The only thing I wonder about is that still pretty fresh 3 bases that are mining. And RagnaroK doesn't seem to be going past 6 bases for the moment. Not that I think he needs base number 7 right away, but it's something to keep in mind that eventually that needs to be something we see coming down, I think. Thor's get some shots off. Cyclones come in, pushing the Mutas back once more, down through the center of the map. Over the left-hand side, some Lings come running by. Widow Mines here and there as the Lings continue through into the natural expansion. I'm going to go jump on this Thor. The Mutas are going to join in with that fight as well. They're going to get the Thor, and he actually resets the Widow Mines. The Widow Mines actually unburrowed. One of them was still left, remaining to fight as a lot of SCVs going down. However, TY's got to push across the map. A push that's going to get a base. Every base that TY kills makes this so much worse for RagnaroK because every base that goes down is less mining RagnaroK comes out of this with. And for RagnaroK, he's kind of meant to keep on mining, rebuilding. I tell you what, maybe he's been a bit too, like, unit throwaway heavy, right? Too many Banes rolling into bases because he didn't have like a massive bank to rebuild with right away here. That could be a huge deal. These BCs are getting out of hand. We're going to need to see the Mutalisks coming back home to shut these down soon. For the moment, the Mutalisks continue to commit in, however. As now they move back, looks as though they will come home to clean up the battle cruisers. The BCs have done a lot. TY trailing in supply. Most of that in work as his army supply is still good. And Mutas have to come in all at once. Problem is, if these Thors are still part of this, the Mutas are going to struggle to target fire down the BCs because then they would naturally clump. And then that means the Thor splash damage has a huge role to play. Bane's just about getting through onto this army. Other Bane's showing up as well. The Mutas will dive on in. What can the Thors do? Well, honestly, quite a lot. They've taken the Mutalisk count down a big way already. And now the BCs are left fighting against Ultras. The Ultras are going down. A few more Banelings showing up. But the Thors are still surviving. 3 Thors left alive, even if they are low HP. They are around to keep on pushing forward. And another base of RagnaroK might just go down here. Ultras coming through. Finally, another Thor goes down. Imagine that another one might go down as well. He will get it. BC still just firing away. Spore Crawlers coming in to try and defend this position. As the Liberators have also shown up. Wow, he's actually going to get this base. So all of a sudden, RagnaroK is the one losing bases all over the place. TY is rebuilding a base here. Should be able to move that into location soon. The crazy thing is, TY still has 2 of his fresher bases mining. So in the game where usually TY would be like mining the scraps of the natural and the main, he's actually mining a fairly full health 3rd base, a very fresh 4th base, and a new command center about to finish up as well. Corruptors show up as the next part of this fight. The BCs teleport elsewhere. They're going to try and deny the base on the right side. Leaves the Thor to deal some damage here. Fight with these Mutalisks. There's a couple of Cyclones to help out as well. That Thor's actually going to survive. His Cyclones help a lot, and his Mutas will die. Corruptors on the way to the right side. They will not be here in time to shut down these BCs, so they will take a loss on another hatchery. Now the bottom left hatch is in trouble, and TY's push is just never ending. RagnaroK has just not quite found the use to shut this down properly. Finally gets rid of the Thors, but now there's no Greatest Fire in place. So those those Corruptors are completely dead weight. They can't do anything else in this. I mean, he's so close to clean this up as well, but at the same time, now TY is mining back at home. He's mining off a similar worker count and a better base count. He doesn't actually quite get the hatchery in the end. As the Corruptors make their way into the main, maybe having a look to see what's going on before he leaves. Because actually, I don't know what RagnaroK does. He's got a few more units on the way out, but it's all Lings, it's an Ultra. They're going to die. 81 to 68 supply as the game wraps up. TY somehow makes this push happen across the map to tie us up 2-2. And we're going to a Game 5, baby, in this TvZ semi-final. What a game number 4. Final map of the series. Not making it happen against the mech. Our red Zerg in the top right side of the map. Give it up if you're cheering on RagnaroK. Taking on the bottom left-hand corner, the blue Terran player. This is TY. TY bouncing back 2-2. Game number 5 again. Winner of this plays parting in the best of 7 finals. We'll cast this. We'll cast that after this series wraps up. You guys know the drill. Oh, I don't know what to expect. Pillars of Gold, to me, generally feels like a very good map for Zerg. Very open third bases that the Zerg can run into a lot of the time. Really, take advantage of that. Feels... I don't like mech so much on this map. Although you can, with mech, maybe argue that the Muta style doesn't work as well as we kind of saw in the last one. If the Muta style doesn't work as well, then you can obviously end up taking a lot of... a lot of counterattack damage as the Zerg because you're trying to avoid those counterattacks, or... You know what I mean? You're trying to always kind of overtake the map, but taking over the map's kind of harder when the map is small and your Terran can put some pressure on themselves. That's for sure. And hey, what's up? Mitz1308. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much. That's really generous of you. Out of absolutely nowhere. Tier 2 subs as well. Oh my god. That's not even regular subs. That's tier 2 subs. Holy crap. There's some love in the chat. I don't think anyone's ever gifted a non-tier 1 sub. That's not true. I know somebody gifted some tier 3 subs once, but I don't think anyone's ever done community gifting of tier 2 subs before. That's crazy. There's some love in the chat for that, guys. I will read those out properly after the game. I'll read them out properly after the game before the next series. I obviously want to focus up on what these build orders are looking like. Single gas still from TY, so it looks like we will go back to that 3cc opener that we've seen previously. We should see that 3rd CC in just a few moments' time, about 2:45 on the clock. Just going to be seeing the 3cc coming in. So again, Greed out of TY. He's got an SCV blocking this 3rd, so he kind of wants to delay the 3rd or force the 3rd over here, perhaps, but now that this drone shows up just as the SCV takes its leave, which is a little bit unfortunate. You can see this Reaper doesn't even really quite think about that either. Benefit of cast and replays. We don't have to worry about the pauses or anything, so we can just resume straight away. Not sure what what the pause was for, though. Inu had a good time counting down. All the 3s, all the 2s, even more 1s. As we get this underway. So Lingspeed's going to finish up in the command center coming through. So yeah, 3cc setting up across the board at the moment. Our Lingspeed about to kick into play. Just going to be seeing an extra Queen of Soul on the way out. And again, a few Hellions building, really. Kind of expecting to maybe go back to the game number 1 and 2 build where you take that 3cc. Oh, he's going to go Fusion Core again. Wow, okay. I thought he was going to go into like Cloak Banshees again like he did in games 1 and 2, but... Nuh-uh, he's going to go Fusion Core. He's going to go BCs. Is he going to play mech here? This isn't, to me, a very mech-friendly map because of those open 3rds, etc. But let's see. I mean, if you do play it, it's not terrible. We've seen people play this map before. You know, play mech on this map before. So, okay. Hellions going to pick away at the lava now. Is going to be seeing our fusion core finishing up in a moment. Couple of queens just continuing to build and just going to be seeing everything rallying out the front. Yeah, the Hellions wanting to maybe go toward the natural, but there's only 2 of them. Don't think it's really worthwhile just yet. Especially with these, if he goes BCs, he might want to try and do something like a BC focused timing where he goes like BC Hellbats and try and hit that combo. That'd be a pretty nice timing. However, with the faster lair on the way up and that focus on what will probably be a Spire pretty early on, you can probably expect this to be, if this is an attempt to BC Hellbat, then you're probably going to fall pretty behind as TY. The faster meters really do counter that build quite heavily because you're putting so much into the attack. So hoping that TY just goes for kind of a more regular kind of macro focus, not really looking to hit the Hellbat BC timing, and just kind of playing it out from there. Four Hellions up through the top side of the map. Gonna be coming in. A couple queens get these drones gonna get roasted. That's 3 kills right away. The few Lings started chasing behind the mineral line. Now the Ling's gonna go in from the left-hand side instead. These queens will help to get the kills, so the Hellions will go down. There's gonna be 3 drones already picked off as the Baneling speed sets up here from RagnaroK as well. So getting that Baneling speed through. He actually goes melee upgrades before he goes into the Spire or anything as well. So no tech choice just yet. Wow, the BC just teleported across the map. I mean, this is pretty brave. If this was an immediate Spire, this BC probably dies to the meters before it can teleport home. In this scenario, it's actually going to be okay. He's going to get away with it as the Hellions try and dive the third at the same time, but not much luck there. They will be pushed back. The Ling defense is good. This BC is still full of health, though, and there's definitely going to be a few more than the 4 drones already killed. Right now, I can't target the spawning pool, but there are definitely better targets. These drones go down a lot more quickly and probably a lot more effective, too. And gets a whole bunch extra kills that already equal or, you know, go past the cost of the spawning pool rebuilding. So, yeah, Spire on the way. And I imagine RagnaroK's going to end up playing the mutas here once again. So, yeah, I imagine he's going to play into the Mutalisks. Really kind of, again, similar style. I actually think that RagnaroK was doing a good job last time. It was just toward the end. He really let it slip a little bit. TY got a bit too much control. It's going to be seeing our BC going back down the bottom side of the map. So that's going to fly home well before the meters are out. So it's going to be a job well done. It's just going to be seeing our armory, our second engineering bay coming up. Command center will drop in. Love the position right now, I think, for TY. I think the BC obviously did great damage. 10 drones is nothing to be scoffed at. It's really interesting. TY took a real kind of movement from Bio Game 1, Bio Game 2, pretty heavily committed Hellbat attack in Game 3, into just straight up mech for Games 4 and 5. I wonder what was the turning point for him. Must have been somewhere in that Game 2 where he was just like, but I mean, Game 2, I can kind of look at that map and be like, well, it's just not the best map to be, you know, for Terran in general. So I didn't think that was going to be like a major issue right away. That Widow Mine didn't go off on a single muta. Finally gets 1. He deserves it. I mean, he targeted so many as they flew by. He deserved to get 1 kill at the very least. Oh, that's a double Widow Mine shot. This is really nice. He's actually gone rid of, what, 4 Mutalisks now? The mutas first show up, 4 of them go down. That's a pretty costly start. RagnaroK definitely not getting going as easily as he would like to. Definitely not getting off to the start he would have liked to. We see an Infestation Pit and the Hydra Den. Are we going to go into... I mean, we see the missile upgrade as well. What is the intention here? Are we going to see something crazy like Lurkers against mech? Is that the plan? Surely not. And yet it is a possibility. More likely maybe be... I mean, maybe it is just Lurkers. Are you really going to go from mutas into Roach Hydra with like a fast hive? And it's not impossible. There's the hive, there's the grooved spines, so we are going to see some amount of hydras taken to the stage. What, you're just going to play Lingbane Hydra with the hive tech? Maybe into Broodlords? I guess that could maybe work. I don't know, it's a weird little setup right now from RagnaroK. Definitely not one you see all of the time, even in these scenarios. Very interested to see what comes out of this. We do see the BC showing up, actually going to be able to pick the Queen off already, gets the Mutalisks as well. 2 meters go down. BC going to fire up a storm on the Corruptor. So the Corruptor gets killed off as well, and it's another Corruptor going to get Yamato'd. And the power of these BCs, now all of them teleport home, and they just get free kills, get out of there, get repaired, and they'll go again. So obviously the Corruptors will help out a lot more against the BCs. It does mean that you never really went into that massive meters. It's only 3 meters left anyway. They had a pretty bad time flying over mines and into BCs and all sorts, so switching it into Corruptors instead, I actually don't mind that so much, right? Because the idea is let the meters really work well in higher numbers and overwhelming numbers, but if you're not getting there, then you kind of need to get something more sturdy that can fight the BCs more easily. The Corruptors do that with a much lower cost, basically, so Corruptors are needed then to kind of fill that role, and then you got the Hydras on the ground, and I guess this is just going to be kind of Hydra Lingbane with some Viper support. It's so what's interesting about it is it's not actually that weird of a composition. It's just the way he got here was very unorthodox. You know, the way he got to this spot was very different to what you might have expected. As our Hellions gonna get through for a couple of drones already. Quite a lot of drones already, actually, as we're gonna see our Thors showing up as well. Some Banes to start rolling forward, and yeah, those Banes gonna get shut down here. They really didn't do much. Counterattack. Ling's gonna find some long distance mining SCVs, but they get shut down pretty quickly in this push of TY. Is he just gonna? He's gonna kill this hatchery. So RagnaroK doesn't fly in until that hatchery's dead. I think this is gonna be cleaned up, but at a huge cost. So now you've got an army moving up this right side. This hatchery might go down as well. If that happens, and you're in some trouble. Here comes the Lingbane Hydra to clean this up. The problem is the Banes don't really want to be here, landing on a single Thor at a time. Now you've got split units a way to deal with this as well. 7 drones already down on the right side. Blue Flame Halberds have something to say about Zerglings trying to defend this, and that is that they shouldn't be doing it. It's expensive from RagnaroK. He's losing units on both sides of this map. At least he only lost one of the bases. Corruptor's in a little bit of trouble as well. The BC's got the hell out of there. Only one of them went down, so 2 still alive. And now the Corruptor count's taking a beating. Those Maxfield Cyclones do bonus damage to the Corruptors. And the Corruptor count being completely reset. Oh no. These Thors should be able to get the last couple kills. That's 1 of the 3. Well, only 2 of the 3. Oh, that's kind of brutal. That is kind of brutal, as we're just going to be seeing Cyclones and Hellions up this right side. Lingbane Hydra going to come pushing through. I mean, this is the issue, though. These Cyclones are going to keep on picking up trades. Now the Lurk Den's on the way down, so that is going to be the eventual kind of tech up here from RagnaroK, but I'd be lying if I said I liked it. I really just don't know what you really get done with the Lurkers at this stage. I mean, you can hold positions quite nicely, but against a mech player that still has a couple of BCs up, I just don't think it works all that well. These few Widow Mines, by the way, they actually now got a bunch of them to fire a second time. Some of them still will on Zerglings. A little bit of a shame. If they'd gone off on a few more Hydras, I mean, they'd already found great efficiency, but a few more Hydras and we would have been talking about some of the greatest Widow Mines of all time. Yeah, maybe not quite the... maybe not quite in the world of, you know, killing drones and stuff, but against an army or so? Maybe not. Maybe of all time it's a little bit excessive, but you already had a bunch of them picking off, you know, single Hydras. That's already great as a Widow Mine. I think I'm getting a little bit excited saying of all time for sure, but Lurker upgrades continue through. We've not seen a Lurker take to the field just yet, though, and we honestly still might not. There's the first few of them finally burrowing up. So this is our first sight of the Lurkers in a battle. Vikings firing, Overlord taking some damage. Nice flying cloud. Couple of abducts coming in. That's more than a couple of abducts. That's a lot of abducts. The only issue I have is that these Hydras are very much so on their own, so the Blue Flame Hellions get so much damage done against them. W Auto actually cancels. Afraid of the Hydras? Okay. Canceling Yamato support back, he really was afraid. I don't think that was an abductor or anything that I just missed, right? I don't think so. These Lurkers are going to unburrow, try and go elsewhere. Overlord gets picked off, couple Queens going down. Lurkers going to push their way forward here. The Cyclones are going to get in. Is just going to see a few of these tanks being abducted in. Hydra's here doing a pretty decent job of this. And I think we might have a cleanup for RagnaroK, but oh my god, the reinforcements. I didn't realize there were so many tanks just down this ramp. Especially with the Hellions getting here to protect the tanks against the Zerglings. The Hydras get cleaned out all of a sudden. I mean, I didn't expect RagnaroK to come out of this, clean it up, and be in a lead, but I actually did expect him to at least be able to clean it up. It is pushed back. TY is going to unsiege and relocate, only because he realizes there's a better chance of just pushing this right side and into this 5th base. And that's exactly the direction he's going to work himself into right now. So that's where he's going to be going to. And RagnaroK just doesn't even give him the fight. And TY is going to take this to a... Well, TY is going to take this to a 3-2 victory. He's going to shut down this series. And he's the one that's going to go to the finals to play against Parting. So that's going to be TY taking on Parting in the best of 7 finals. Good series between TY and RagnaroK. Some very different games, some very fun ways of it playing out. We saw Bio win, Bio lose, Mech win, Mech lose. Well, no, sorry, we saw Mech win twice, and we saw Hellbat attack lose. Yeah, fun series though. I mean, 2 very different ways of playing against the mechas from RagnaroK as well. A really fun best of 5 to wrap us up there. I'll see you guys for the finals.